looks like I do not have to stay up until 1 in the morning. If you see me keep looking to the left, I got the OKC Thunder versus Denver Nuggets game on my monitor over here on my desk. Right now, we are leading 80-46 with 2 minutes left in the first half. The Nuggets have just 2 timeouts left in the entire game. They've used 5 timeouts in the first half, so this game is pretty much cooked. 34-point lead right now. Jokic has 9 points. I'm not worried about them coming back in this game whatsoever. If they do, then we're just not meant to be. We're just not meant to win this series. But with that being said, the New York Knicks do it again. Oh, bro. I watched majority of this game, and the Celtics took 20 less threes. They only took 43s in this game. They were 15 for 60, 15 for 60 last game. NBA record 45 missed threes in one playoff game. And like I said, they took 20 less threes, 10 for 40 in the game for the game. 25%, but they still were 3-point hunting majority of the game, especially up to start off the game, 2 for 9 because they just could not get enough of the threes. 0 of 4 early on in that first quarter, settling for the jump shot and not being in rhythm. But they did find their stride defensively in that first quarter, able to get out on a break and taking the lid off the basket finally, hitting 6 of their next 13 shots in that in a span in that first quarter, gaining a 10-point lead and led by as much as 13 in the first. 6 offensive rebounds to go along with that jolt on the defensive end that really gave them that boost and took a lead. For the most part, Jason Tatum did not have a great game whatsoever. When you consider the fact that he was 1 for 7 in the first half. In the back end of the game, he really was not able to get anything going. Just 5 of 19 for the game. Jaylen Brown started off really slow as well. I think he missed his first 4 or 5 shots and then hit an and one over Josh Hart. And then he got himself going a little bit, got a little activated. Finished the first half with 17 points, but ended up scoring just 3 points for the rest of the game. So I can't really remember his shot selection, but obviously it wasn't great. Like I said, I watched majority of this game in and out just because, just doing things within, like working and things like that. I'm going to have to go back and rewatch this and look at the shots that he took, but 7 threes for the game for Jaylen Brown. That's not too uncharacteristic for him. But when you consider the fact that Derek White shot 3 for 11, Al Horford was 3 for 5, Tatum 1 for 5, Drew Holiday only took 6 shots in the entire game, and then Peyton Pritchard was 3 for 9 from deep in the game as well. Overall not able to find a rhythm offensively. In that third quarter, they did, however, go up by 20 points, with the Knicks coming out flat in that starting off the second half. Similar to the first quarter, just not able to find consistency offensively. Outside of maybe Cat before he got in foul trouble, had to go to the bench, and then Josh Hart as well, leading the way with 10, maybe even 12 points in that third quarter. They went down by as much as 20 because they just lost the defensive intensity that they had and the interest. I felt like just playing defense. Numerous times you saw guys going like rolling their eyes or just throwing their hands up in the air, just looking defeated as a team, going down 20 once more, back-to-back games, just after baskets as well as off of turnovers. OG Anunoby had a turnover. Jason Tatum got a steal on him, and OG paused for a moment and was just looking really deflated. And somewhere down the line, they were able to find a light at the end of the tunnel in that back end of the third quarter, going on an 11-3 run to cut the lead to 12. And then Mikal Bridges in that fourth quarter hit 3 straight shots, 3 straight shots to start off the fourth quarter for the New York Knicks for his first points of the game. Mikal Bridges, 3 for 19 from the field through the first 6 quarters of the second round. So in the first game, he went 3 for 11, I want to say, and then he didn't make a shot in the first half in this game. So he was struggling to find a shot. So that's why it was so surprising to see the way that he did take over that fourth quarter with Jalen Brunson on the bench, scoring 9 points when Boston Celtics were looking like they were about to take control of the game again. They were up by 16, but Mikal Bridges was just relentless. Like I said, Brunson on the bench for maybe 5-6 minutes of the fourth quarter. Mikal Bridges was the life that the team needed, and looking like they had thrown in the towel just a quarter ago. We're right back there, cut the lead to 10 with just over 6 minutes to play, and then Mikal Bridges once more hit a heat check of a three for his 14th point of the quarter, minimizing that lead even more to 8. Just fearlessness, ferociousness, to take some of the shots that he was taking. Like I said, early on in that game, he just could not find his shot. So the way that he was able to catch fire was like honestly out of nowhere, and that the Knicks needed exactly that. Winning the game by just 1 point. Everything that Mikal Bridges did, Jalen Brunson did, Karl Anthony Towns did, hell, even Josh Hart with his offensive rebounding ability, it's unlike any player I've ever seen, especially with his size and caliber of a player, playing a small ball 4 for majority of his Knicks tenure, being 6'4", 6'5", just able to out-rebound so many people on numerous occasions, especially in the clutch. Like, it is ridiculous how many rebounds Josh Hart gets in the clutch offensively. He had one in the game, late in the game, where he kind of floated and got held up by I forget who it was on the Celtics. They kind of held him up, and he was able to throw the ball back in bounds before going out of bounds. Like, he was floating, going out of bounds, and was able to get it back in bounds, albeit he wasn't able to save it to Jalen Brunson like he wanted to. Those kind of plays are what, Josh Hart is that kind of player. If there was a hustle award, I think there is a hustle award. It needs to be named after Josh Hart, because he is the embodiment of what a hustle player is. He helped fuel a 13-2 run late in that quarter, cutting the deficit to just 5. The Celtics, early on in the game, got comfortable, settling for threes again, shot hunting, missed 7 threes in the span of 5 minutes, sold a 14-point lead. Like I said, turned that to a one-possession game. They were held scoreless for over 8 minutes in the fourth quarter, missing 14 straight shots, giving up the momentum to the Knicks, who took their first lead of the game on a 21-2 run. Karl Anthony Towns, who dominated on the glass early on in this game, especially in that second quarter, he really did the heavy lifting for the Knicks in that first half. 14 points, 9 rebounds, 6 of 10 from the field. And he had a really clean-ass wraparound pass, looking like Jokic to Josh Hart a little bit. He had a pump fake. I think it was Drew Holiday jumped. Somebody else stepped up, and he threw a wraparound around Sam Howell or Luke Cornett, and Josh Hart got the easy layup. But I really liked the way that Towns was, attacking the glass all night. Got a clutch putback and one that led to the Brunson step back over Drew Holiday for them to take the 87-86 lead, and putting pressure on Boston with that 21-2 run, taking a momentary 3-point lead. And then after Jalen Brunson was able to get the layup in transition over Al Horford, Tatum got the line drive dunk off the inbound off a solid screen from Horford to get OG off of Tatum, got the switch, immediately attacked Mitchell Robinson, got right down to the rim. But then Jalen Brunson, comes down on the other end, gets to his spot in the mid-range, gets Drew Holiday to foul him, hits the 2 clutch free throws to seal the game scoring-wise for the Knicks. And then you go down, Jason Tatum, I forget who he was matched up against, either OG or Mikal. It wasn't Mikal, it was OG. He tries to drive on OG, he cuts him off. Jaylen Brown does a little fade up to the up out of the corner up to the top of the wing. Mikal Bridges notices what's going on because Tatum is driving. I don't want to say a line drive to the corner, but he's not in position to really score the basketball. So Mikal Bridges uses his help defense IQ and locks in and helps OG get that steal at the end of the game, where Tatum was trying to get a kick out to Jaylen Brown for a wide open 3. If you would have seen the replay, Tatum, that play would have been wide open. Maybe not wide open, but had Mikal missed that steal, then yes, it would have been wide open. But had he just stayed there, then I don't know, maybe you get a contested 3. I don't know what that could potentially look like, but another back to back. Like Mikal Bridges is, he has won the Knicks these games, or really been a large part of that, because obviously Jalen Brunson, what he does in the clutch, especially in Game 1 for the New York Knicks, really, really huge for them. Also in the last game, OG Anunoby was really huge for them as well offensively. Mikal, but back-to-back games, got the game-winning steal on the superstar, this time being Tatum. In the first game, it was Jaylen Brown, just stripped it right out of his hands, and then obviously in this one, got the like crazy like palm out of Jason Tatum's hand for the steal. And the Knicks go up 2-0, coming back down 20 points in back-to-back games on the road. The only team in NBA playoff history to have come back down 20 points in back-to-back games and able to win the game. Teams that win the first two games of a 7-game series on the road win the series 85.7% of the time with a all-time record of 30-5. So it's looking pretty it's looking pretty scary, not only for the Boston Celtics but for the Cleveland Cavaliers, who have gone down 0-2 to the Indiana Pacers. Tyrese Halliburton is an absolute dog, man, an absolute dog. I didn't get to watch that game live. I had to go watch it back, so I don't have too many notes on that. But Donovan Mitchell gave the Cavs all he could. They were up eight? Yeah, they were up 8 points with maybe 40 seconds left, and just Tyrese Halliburton, clutch. Overrated? No, not at all. Tyrese Halliburton is a dog, bro. And I've been rocking with Reese since he was in Sacramento, bro. So I don't want to hear the glazing. And I'm a rock with anybody in the league named Tyrese. Tyrese Halliburton, Tyrese Maxey, Tyrese Martin. Who's the other Tyrese? It's another Tyrese in the NBA. I cannot think of his name. I might be tweaking for forgetting his name. But anyways, this is the first time in NBA playoff history that the road team has won every single game to start off the second round. Obviously, that's about to end with OKC winning our game tonight. But like I dropped a video maybe a few weeks ago saying this will be the most interesting and exciting playoffs that we have seen in this entire 2020 decade. So, I mean, it looked like I was right. I mean, the writing was on the wall. It's not like I'm a Nostradamus or anything like that, but I love what I'm seeing in this playoffs right now, bro. And then shifting over to the notes that I was taking on the OKC game before it got so out of hand. OKC has not lost 2 games in a row at home since December of 2023. With that stat alone, it kind of gave me hope that we would win the game, not in the fashion that we actually are doing. Right now it is halftime. We are leading the Denver Nuggets 87-56. Throughout the season, we have only had 6 games in total decided by 3 points or less. That is including the playoffs, with a record of 2-4 in those games. So, not really the best track record in that regard, but just a small sample size as well. Having the largest win margin in NBA history. Yeah. Having the largest win margin in NBA history of a 12.8 points per game. We don't really have much experience this season in that regard. So, I mean, we're just essentially used to beating up on teams like we're doing tonight in the paint. Early on in that first quarter, 10 of our 18 points in the first 7 minutes were in the paint. Just finding opportunities to attack with Jokic out of position. Started the game off 7 of 10 from the field. On a 23-6 run, we ended up going up by 20 in the first quarter. And it looked like the team that, like I said, I was accustomed to seeing all year, where we were up by 12-plus points per game, having had that largest average point per game margin. So, getting after it on the defensive end, causing havoc, creating turnovers, and getting out on the break and running, working on the glass, like that is the Thunder basketball that, I'm glad that we are getting back to. Obviously, having not played, like I said, for 9 to 10 days, and then the Denver Nuggets being fresh off of that 7-game series, fresh, so to speak, just having, or not fresh, but, warm, their legs are warm, they're ready to go, so to speak. But that collapsed in the fourth quarter. That just can't happen. We were winning by 11 with like four plus minutes on the clock. That just can't happen again. But yeah, 24-point lead going into the second quarter in this game. We are, like I said, winning by 31 right now, 87-56 at halftime. So there's no real reason for me to analyze or break anything down for this game. So shout out to New York, man. As always, we enjoy basketball around here. Shout out Angel Reese, WNBA season coming soon. I'm going to try to do some coverage on that as much as I can. I would really love to get into that. But yeah, man, it's been Reese the Sideliner. I don't have to stay up late tonight. Thank God that the Thunder are handling business, because I was not trying to stay up until 2 to get this video out. But hey, it is what it is. Thank y'all for tuning in. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.